Okay. Hello, today I am with Kendra Ramirez and excited to extend our series on maximizing your marketing during COVID. And I'm super thrilled to have Kendra share her experiences and her advice on how to manage through and gain momentum during this crisis. So Kendra, welcome and thank you. So glad to have you.
Oh, I always love our conversation. So thank you so much for including me in your awesome series.
I appreciate that. Well, first, will you just give the listeners a bit of background on yourself and your career?
Well, it all started when I was 3. I'm kidding. So the last 14 years, I have led a digital agency, and digital to us means website, social media management, and lead generation. And that has just been an awesome, awesome journey. And then a year ago, I started another company called Reset, and that is a mindset community because I've been doing a ton of mindset work over the last 5 years. And so, yeah, so that's just a little bit about me.
That's interesting. And you were telling me how the two kind of come together. So explain that to everyone watching.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yesterday I had a call and she's like, I see you doing some marketing stuff and some mindset stuff. And she's like, how is it connected? I'm like, well, everything is about human behavior, all of it, right? Marketing, we're trying to lead someone down a path to purchase a product or service, and we're using human behaviors to do that. And part of that human behavior is mindset, right? So everything that we do is about reinforcing what behaviors we want out of people.
That's great. That's awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to what you have to share today. So my first question is, what trends are you seeing in marketing during the COVID-19 crisis?
Yeah, I think now at this point, we're going on week 6. I think we're all COVID like enough. We don't need any more emails saying how much you care about us and we haven't talked to you in 4 years. Same thing with, I was even just watching, ads last night as my husband and I were watching some mindless TV, and every single ad sounded the exact same. And there was nothing unique about it. And I think we're just at that point now, we're just burnt out with those messages. And so really we have to talk about just relationships and leading with empathy. It's not that we want to be tone deaf, and please understand that's not what I'm saying. It's just we don't need to lead with that as much as we've the past several weeks, and that it needs to be through education, it needs to be through relationships. I know I've had the most incredible conversations over these last few weeks, and in talking with our clients and just the business community on several kind of business leader Zoom calls, and just we're all pitching in on what we can do to help each other and help our community. And I think it's just just getting in a place of serving, finding ways to use your gifts and abilities to help others that may be struggling, and being able to help with that. So I think the big thing is leading from an education standpoint, doing little video series and educating people on tips and tricks and things that can help them. See where you can expand your current service offerings. Right now is a great time to stop and say, okay, if I were to do a different marketing campaign or set up a different type of business right now, what would that look like? Maybe your current target audience isn't a good fit for what's happening right now. Maybe you need to shift your target audience. So could you maybe do just redefine your target audience and seeing where others need help? And I always say, go look at the essential workers, essential companies list, because those are great targets, for businesses and for marketing purposes. So I think it's just a great time for us to stop and say, okay, what do we want to do to rewrite, this story, and from a marketing perspective and or business planning perspective. And then leading with empathy is so critical about what we can do to just help others, and even just be a great connector. Sometimes you may not personally be able to help, but maybe someone that could help.
Yeah, I love what you're saying, which is to be authentically a servant leader during this time. And, I think, gosh, there's companies out there that, maybe are in automotive, and all of a sudden now they're producing face masks. And I think such a great example to your point around where is there a need and how can you authentically lead? So that's great. So tell me, Kendra, do you have a story of a time where your business and you as a leader faced a crisis. And what did you learn from that? And what would you do now in order to come out of that crisis with momentum?
Yeah, so I've been here multiple times, being that I've been in business for 14 years, so I saw the downturn. I personally went through the whole dot-com bust, so I was working in corporate America during that time, and I got laid off, during that time. So that was, painful. And then going through, 9/11, and then the downturn in 2008, 2009. And that was really, really hard. So I'm so grateful that I have been through that, because I can kind of share, what I learned during those times. And in 2008, 2009, a lot of people moved to fractional services. So our marketing community is being impacted really big, because 2008, 2009, marketing and training were the first to be let go inside of organizations. We saw that, in that last downturn. And what came out of that were more fractional services. I think people still going to have needs, but maybe they can't afford the full-time employee, status. So there's still going to be needs. They're just going to be a little bit, different, those fractional services. And the innovation that happened last time. So there's many companies that were, came out of that. I think it was Pinterest and Slack and Airbnb, to name a few, that came out of that last downturn. So there's some innovation that's going to happen because of this. It's kind of forcing our hand into that. And I'm seeing it, especially in marketing. We just got 2 new clients, and it was, hey, we haven't been doing digital. We've been in business for a long time, but with everything's happening, we need to move some services digitally. Can you help us? And so going through that and getting on the other side, knowing you just have to be able to pivot and shift direction in listening to the client needs, listening. If you're in marketing, if you're in sales, your job right now is just to listen to needs. And what happens from that is you start looking for commonalities and threads of commonality. So you start hearing maybe the same problem. And then from that, you can create a solution, to that, and get creative during this time. And it's just the, having the mindset that, this too shall pass, that, we will get on the other side. And I encourage people to write the, after this statement, so after this, when things, turn around, what do I really want to do? Like now, another call I had with someone, she's just like, this is giving me the time to really listen to, what am I being called to do? And she's like, I'm no longer interested in, she's been in business development her whole career. And she said, I kind of fell into that career by accident. I really didn't mean to fall into it. But the more now I'm realizing I really want to shift and go into a different type of career. And she said, I think I'm just going to go for it. And I encouraged her. It's like, if you're being pulled in that manner, if you're feeling led to do it, absolutely follow your passion. And she just said she just kind of fell in a rut and just continued to do it because it served her and her family, but it wasn't something that was setting her, her on fire.
Right. I love what you're saying, both listening to your target audience, but listening to yourself during this time. I think is really smart. And I love the concept of fractionalized services and, this idea of, your offering may need to adjust in this time. It could be price point, it could be breadth, it could be perhaps a different way of delivering your service than you ever have before. And to be agile in doing that, which is so smart. And Kendra, I want to kind of, really tap into your backgrounds with mindsets as well. And what mindsets would you recommend marketers to, really think about and try to implement into their daily lives during this crisis?
Yeah, so it just so happens I'm in the middle of a book study with Get Out of Your Head by Jenny Allen. We're going into week 3 right now, and something that the book is all about is we have to capture our thoughts. But the premise of the book is stopping the spiraling, that happens. And we've been doing a lot of mind mapping, so you get your little circle of words and then write out, the things behind those words. And it just helps when you process it that way. Sometimes you're just getting out a piece of paper or calling a close friend and talking through, how you're feeling, and identify the lies that are coming up, right? So like for me, a couple of the words I have on here is, one of them is peaceful. I'm feeling really peaceful right now. And I'm writing all the gratitude and things I'm so grateful for. But then there's also that little piece of me like, wait a minute, well, should I be like worried? And in mindset, we always say, don't allow the shoulds to take over, right? Anytime you start to say something, you're like, I should, do this or feel this, you kind of need to pause in those moments. And then the other one I wrote was productive. I was like, I'm feeling really busy and I'm doing some things. And I'm grateful for that. But at the same time, I started the comparison. I'm like, well, couldn't I be doing more? Should I be doing more? And two, like I am a busy body, like I've, have functioned like that for years. And it's important for us right now to do the self-care and stop. And, if you need a day where you just don't get out of your jammies, know that that's normal. Like part of the mindfulness, so there's 7 practices of mindfulness, is non-striving. Yeah. And I love that because it just gives us permission to like, have to fill our calendars up right now. There's moms out there that are just really over 3 little ones and, trying to manage the home and work, and they're kind of, putting in the gaps of trying to get things done. And it's really, really important that you don't need to go write a novel right now, and you don't need to invent something amazing, right now. That it's okay. Like if your kids need a break and you need a break, just do it. Like another mom said she literally just created this beautiful schedule when everything first happened in the first week, and then she handed it to the kids and let them just rip it apart because it was not working. The same thing like in business and in marketing, we have to have pivots and shifts and be agile. We have to do the same thing in our homes and our own hearts, of giving ourselves permission to shift if we need to shift. If we're not, feeling the best of ourselves, we can't serve others from an empty space. And so it's really important. So I love this little, and I'm happy to share the little one-pager if anybody, wants it, on how to do that little mind map. It's really easy. You don't need anything special to do it, but it's about capturing our thoughts before we spiral out of control. And we have, gosh, I think it's like over 30,000 thoughts in any given day. And in normal world, 70% of those thoughts are negative. So right now with what's going on, I'm pretty sure that negativity is probably in the 90% range, much, much higher. And we need to capture those thoughts before we spiral out of control.
I love your message around just set the right expectations. Mm-hmm. Do not set unrealistic expectations. Mm-hmm. And even the expectations you used to have of yourself in these circumstances may not be right anymore. Mm-hmm. To help kind of avoid that should syndrome that you mentioned. So fantastic. And Kendra, last question, if there's one thing you would tell the marketing community, one call to action you would give them, what would that be?
Mm-hmm. Gosh, just one. In this time, it's easy to just go in isolation. And I just encourage you to not fall into that. Like, reach out to other marketers, reach out to people that have been through this before, and ask for help. I think that isolation is a really dangerous place, to be. And I know, like, for me, I have to be, mindful of that when I'm in, struggling from either anxiety or depression or something like that. Like, I have to pull myself out of it. And so just reach out to other marketers. That's what I love, the marketing community. We're all in this together. There's no one that's got this figured out. We're all in this together, and we can all learn from each other and help each other. So I just encourage you to reach out to other people and don't, suffer by yourself.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I've learned a lot from you today. So thank you so much, Kendra, for your time. I appreciate it.